Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second game of GXPC. We'll be getting into game one using Pro Draft of SKIZM TE. We'll get right into that very shortly as everybody prepares to draft up. So, Trick, what are you expecting out of this series?
Honestly, from looking at these two teams, it looks like it's going to be a really brawly series. We know both these teams really like to skirmish. SKIZM coming into the season, obviously a returning favorite. They went to the finals last season. Looking to finals, yeah. Looking to rebuild on their success from last season with a entirely new roster, actually. What do you think of that?
Well, not entirely new. They still have, I believe Laxton played for them last season. They have Gaudier. They also have Dylan, who was mid but is now ADC. Rampage is a new top laner, and Big Brain mid coming from a lot of different teams. He played for NFG, he played for Elion Gaming, and it's kind of surprising to see him on SKIZM now.
Yeah, he's been bouncing around, but he seems to have found a home here with SKIZM Esports. We'll just see how that fit ends up going through for them. How about this team Eradication? They seem to be brand new on the scene, seem to be a little swagger to them.
Yeah, Team Eradication, as far as I know, brand new. I can't recognize a single player or their username from any other game previously. So, completely new, hoping to make a name for themselves here.
Yep, and just so everybody does know, Team Eradication is using an emergency sub in the top. Sawyer will be swapping to mid lane for the series. They will not have any bans for the series.
Which is that's definitely going to put a bit of a hanker on them, since it gives SKIZM a lot of wiggle room in this draft.
As ironic as it is, as SKIZM kind of last season liked to do the no ban strategy. Not that that worked very well for them early. Be a little of a reverse here.
Well, you win some bans, you lose some bans. And for Eradication, SKIZM won all their bans, and Eradication lost all theirs.
Looks like we'll get into the pro draft momentarily. We're just waiting for that to boot up. They're getting some ready checks in chat.
Going a little bit slow, but that's okay. It's the first game of the night in this best of 3, and then after this series, we'll be going into White Lotus versus Recon 5. So make sure that you stick around for that, because that is going to be an interesting series. But I'm very excited to see Team Eradication come out of the gate and see what they can bring.
Yeah, they so far just kind of a brief overview into them. They look like they're going to be, as I said before, a little skirmish. Looks like at the top lane with this new guy, we're going to be seeing a lot of the traditional stuff like the Urgot, the Scion, and the Cho'Gath. It doesn't seem to have any real big pocket picks to come out of that side. We have a call from the teams. Apparently, we have a Discord crash for the size of SKIZM, so we're still waiting on that.
All right, now they're taking through it as the draft has actually begun in SKIZM. First ban the Darius. And then Team Eradication ban nobody, because they don't get to ban anybody for the next 2 to 3 games. So get ready for a lot of this.
Yeah, sadly there is no ban option yet with Pro Draft, so we need to just wait it through it.
Maybe next series to get the ball rolling, we can set up some bans that no one's going to play. Super Scyther isn't in this one, so maybe we can just ban Teemo out first. Make sure that is just a little bit quicker.
Well, who knows? Even without Super Scyther as the new guy, it looks like he plays a lot of traditional stuff and nothing of the big stuff, but you never know. You might have that counter pick for maybe the Nasus. Like next patch, we're probably going to see a lot more Nasus with that new buff coming through. I don't want to see that.
That looks to be a very disgusting buff. But I'm pretty surprised about the Thresh ban here. I went through some op.gs and I checked some. I suppose what I should say to be more professional is I checked some solo queue, and Achilles plays a fair amount of Thresh. Now, fair, respect banning the Thresh. I can completely understand that, but respect banning the Thresh when your support is mini songless. That seems a little bit weird. Laxton plays a lot of Morgana, and he's very good on the champion, so it seems weird to see them ban the Thresh rather than pick the Morgana into it.
It could be the possibility that they already have a preset draft that they're looking to do, and even without the bans being, available for the side of Eradication, they're really trying to get through and, try and force through a different support pick. Of course, the Thresh ban being there, we could see it being a more disengagey support that they're trying to pick away through. We do see the Urgot lock-in.
Ooh, I like that a lot. I think Urgot's a very strong champion pick. And I also like the Galio ban. That champion is incredibly strong right now with a lot of good matchups in the mid.
Just the Cho'Gath hover coming back for the set of Eradication. Nothing too special so far. This just from the stats side. It looks like this is one of his more played picks at coming at number 3. Behind the Urgot itself. And a Nautilus. Oddly enough.
Well, if Revnon knows the Urgot, then he should probably know the counter pick into it, well, a matchup that he favors into it. So it could be that the Cho'Gath is his version of a counter pick. I don't know how it plays out personally. It seems like the Cho'Gath would kind of lose in the matchup, but it's interesting to see how he's going to play it.
To my knowledge, the Urgot versus Cho'Gath matchup is more so where Cho'Gath just looks to survive and out-sustain the lane, where he'll never be in a position where Urgot can take advantage and kill him in the laning phase. And we do see Pyke coming through.
I like the Pyke. I saw Achilles has played a lot of Pyke in his solo queue records. I like the champion. I think it's very strong right now.
You see the Sever Morgana. Oh, there's the Morgana.
There's the Morgana, and as I see the Morgana, that brings more questions to me about why the Thresh, man. You know, there could be more reason for it, but it's Morgana Sever bot lane that seems like it'd be really good against the Thresh. I don't want to give into it too much. Maybe they have a little bit more of a strategy there. Maybe they're scared of the Thresh for whatever reason.
Yeah, the Thresh ban definitely triggers me as an odd here, as they do have Sivir and Morgana, both pretty good at laning into the Thresh. Maybe they're just afraid of his map pressure with it. Maybe they're looking to drive an immobile mid here for Big Brand. Galio's taken away, and we do see the Tristana answer on the other side. So it looks like a farm lane.
When you said the kind of sit there and play champion from Big Brain in the mid lane, I like that idea because he does play a lot of these immobile mages. He plays a fair amount of Vel'Koz. I've seen him on the Syndra. I've seen him on Azir before. He doesn't necessarily play it all the time, but you're right. He does play a lot of these immobile mages. And even if he does go for this, it seems as though Eradication will still be able to bully him really hard with the lineup they have.
So far, they do have a pretty strong team funding comp coming out of the side of Eradication with the Tristana. At least with a really big Cho'Gath to be able to soak up the Urgot. We will have to see how they're respecting here. SKIZM do go ahead and get rid of the Cassio. Not too aggressive when it comes to the laning phase, at least early on, unless they intend on going something with like maybe a Cassio. But Cassio is really good in the current meta with the Q max being more prevalent with the comments there.
I like the Cassio man
here
a lot.
Jarvan. Again, not a ban I really think they look too much into, unless it is the case they just play it more.
Yeah, the Jarvan ban's pretty interesting. I think Sivir Morgana, again, is actually pretty powerful against the Jarvan. That could be a respect ban. I'm not sure. I didn't see anybody play a large amount of it. But I guess we're going to see if that ban continues on to the next phase, into Game 2. The Gragas pickup here seems very safe for Eradication.
Yeah, it gives them the disengage that they could use to get the Urgot out of a backline if he so happened to get back there. We do see the Xin Zhao hover here, where this should be an insta-lock, basically. For those who don't know, Xin is still kind of bugged on this patch, where his ult, if it hits multiple targets, will do triple damage to the final target hit. And we do see Lissandra, another premier mid laner in this current patch. Honestly, I'm surprised we didn't see this come out of Eradication last rotation, just see the jungler for final. Do you see Lissandra lock-in?
Well, Lissandra, in my opinion, is actually a little bit greedy. There are a few champions that do counter it pretty well. I like Vel'Koz into it personally. It's been done in Korea. So I think if Eradication wants to, they can actually really bully this Lissandra pick. But SKIZM has a very good all-in and destroy one person comp. And Eradication, they seem to have the disengage to be able to deal with it pretty well.
They have the disengage, that's for sure, but it's going to be a little wonky on both sides. We do see LeBlanc come back in for a final pick. This is looking to make a statement here with Eradication. Into a Lissandra, I wouldn't say LeBlanc is the premier pick here.
I completely agree. That's a very, very ballsy pick. Picking LeBlanc into Lissandra, that's no easy matchup. You QW, Lissandra immediately Ws you back, and she gets the Aftershock proc, and you have to take it in the face.
I got kicked out of the lobby, interesting.
From the game lobby? I also got kicked out of the game lobby.
Let me see. try and contact the players and see what happened there. Perhaps the lobby got broken.
I have no idea. I was also kicked out of the game lobby though.
Yeah. Just going back off the draft. The LeBlanc, again, super greedy pick into your SKIZM comp. There is no easy target here for the LeBlanc to go on. I suppose she's going to try and hit the Morgana to eliminate the A spell shield early on, but Zin's not an easy target. Lissandra definitely not. If she W's into Lissandra, she dies. That is just how this is going to work.
Yes. Lissandra has the point and click ult. She has the W route. 100%. You are dying every time you W in a team fight to her. Yeah, I don't know who LeBlanc is trying to one shot in this scenario. It seems really difficult. You're not killing Urgot. You're not killing Lissandra. It's hard to kill Morgana. It's hard to kill Sivir. It's hard to kill Zinza. It seems like to hard smash the lane and hope that he can roam elsewhere and try to make use of his lead. So Eradication really needs to snowball that mid lane, or the LeBlanc is going to be very useless.
I agree. Just to talk more about what they could have taken here as opposed to the LeBlanc itself. Honestly, I think you stray away from an assassin here. You look towards something like maybe the Orianna that can stay safe in the lane against Lissandra and out-farm her. You could look towards something per se, I don't know, Dark Harvest Karthus that is still up, and we know that's been very prevalent in this patch, receiving plenty of bans. And, nearly one-shotting people later into the game. Obviously, the Vel'Koz would have been a staple pick into this matchup. And, of course, Nico's also still up, who's also pretty decent into this matchup.
Yeah, I believe
there are a
amount of champions that Eradication could have picked up instead of the LeBlanc. I don't really like the pick. It kind of strays away from the rest of what they're doing. It could be set up for the Pyke. Now that I see it, LeBlanc could be setting up a good double distortion for the Pyke ultimate for resets. That's still really greedy though.
Yeah, it's definitely not something that I think is good enough here. Set up for the Pyke, that's just not enough to go off of to lock in a pick like a LeBlanc here.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, I agree. The LeBlanc is very much an outsider. Let's talk about the overall matchups through and through. So we've talked a lot about the mid matchup. Let's go up to the top lane matchup. We touched on it a little bit, but let's talk about it more.
All right, just before we jump into that, though, word from the players. It looks like we had the lobby entirely crash. All the players have to relog, and they're getting back into the lobby as we speak. Invites are going out. And then we can go into the matchups now. So we kind of already stated about the Urgot Cho'Gath. Obviously, Eradication's looking to just survive the lane and try and out-farm and going into a mid-game team fight when Tristana gets to her 2-item spike-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Which more to the prevalency here, Sivir probably outspikes her at 2, but at 3 is where we'll see Tristana really start to shine.
Mm-hmm.
Going to the Gragas, Zen is almost unmatched, except for maybe Udyr, when it comes to early game aggression and 1v1ing. So generally speaking, they'll probably try to, unless LeBlanc tries to get early pry, which is hard against Lissandra. Mm-hmm. Zen will just have to do his, or Gragas will just have to do his best to, 1, try and secure a Scuttle Crab, while avoiding Zen early on and counter-ganking the Zen Zhao. That is kind of their early win condition.
So what you're saying right now is that Eradication right now has no winning lanes.
No, actually, they kind of don't. Like Pyke, Tristana, sure, there's kill pressure there, but it's hard to put kill pressure on a Sivir Morgana. Okay.
So, seeing as how Eradication in this draft realistically didn't draft any winning lanes, SKIZM seems to have gotten the hold over this. How does Eradication win this game?
They need to look for a couple picks. Maybe get a promising engage coming out of the Lissandra. Eradication. They need to look for some prominent picks. LeBlanc picking off Morgana early on would be very ideal for them, I would say. Or at least blow her Zani before the fight begins. Also, I think we need to both relog, because it's not letting me in the lobby.
Yes, I think we also both need to relog. Alright. Jeez. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, early bugs in the preseason. What do you know? At least the spectating client's back up, unlike during the preseason. Early.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate. So right now it looks like Eradication is going to have a bit of a tougher time than Schism is in order to win this one.
Yeah, Schism generally outcomp them. And have won this draft. The win conditions here, I mean, I suppose Eradication can look to try and siege with the Tristana. They have strong tanks in front, but they need to be able to survive a Lysandra engage, who potentially may have a Black Shield herself.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm back in the lobby.
Okay, my client's loading up now.
Okay.
Should be done in a moment.
As it stands, though,
to get into this,
we could just gloss over Schism's win conditions. Obviously, they have pretty solid engage coming out of the Lysandra Sivir. I'm assuming this Lysandra will learn teleport, and we can look to set up more flanky engages from behind. But even then, that might not be necessary. She could just flash W, big root, and either ult herself or a super high priority target like Tristana or the LeBlanc. Or potentially even Pyke at that matter, if he's in a dangerous position. But of course, the most likely opportunity is just her to ult herself for the slow. And then with the follow-up from Sivir Boomerang, Blades just kind of bouncing everywhere. You are in the lobby, good.
Am I in the lobby?
Yep.
Are you sure? Alright.
I see you.
I'm in it now, I think. I'm in it now. Give it a second. I think I'm in the lobby.
I can see you in slot team.
Alright. Well, give my client a second, I suppose. Okay.
There you go.
One more second. We're so close.
Oh, no, it's you left the lobby.
I went to spectate. Oh.
Oh, you're in spectate now.
Am I? Okay. Don't ready yet.
Oh.
Okay. I think I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. I think I'm good.
Alright, so looks like we are getting into the official champion select now. For the lobby. We'll go through the bands again. Before finally getting into the game.
Then we get to see the draft. Then we have another 3 minutes to talk about the draft, even though we just had another 10 minutes.
Always beautiful.
We've talked about team matchups. We've talked about the compositional matchups. So who do you think is going to win this game one? Because as we all know, game one is very important. And
out of the gates, Schism genuinely outcomped them. They're the more so veteran players on the block, I suppose we could say, aside from maybe Rampage, because I don't remember him being around myself. So I think game one, I think we're looking at like a 70-30 in favor of Schism. The 30 being they troll, which is always a possibility with Schism. You never know.
Now, one thing about this draft that I was actually really surprised about is that Akali, Aatrox, and Irelia, the 3 champions that are considered incredibly strong right now, actually went completely untouched.
Akali's definitely lost a bit of favor since her previous nerfs on the last patch, where they lowered her Q damage a bit and then reduced her shroud duration by a good chunk. But Aatrox for sure has obviously, he's been prominent since he was reworked. But it's a little odd that we haven't seen much of him. But I suppose they just didn't want to take the 50-50 matchup with the Urgot, as Urgot, is known to just win lanes straight up.
Well, there was a lot of love for Akali still in the Kespa Cup. Even after her nerfs, and in the Demacia Cup, I think she got played a little bit too. So she's still playable. Oh, Irelia is the one that I'm personally pretty surprised about, because I think Irelia is pretty okay in Lysandra, and Irelia is a pretty alright blind pick mid lane.
Yeah, Irelia would have been just fine here over the LeBlanc pick. She had the massive disarm would work really well against the team, as they have 3 auto attackers primarily. which shut down a lot of their damage during the fight.
Mhm.
So do you see the final lock-ins coming into fruition? We will have the 4-minute delay, including the choose your loadouts before we get in.
Well, here we go. Now we get another 4 minutes to talk about it, but now we get to talk about summoner spells. So everybody's taking pretty basic summoner spells, but there's 3 teleports on the side of Schism, including Dealin.
I'm not too sure about that. I'm assuming they think they're going to get bullied early? Levels 1 to 2, possibly?
Mm-hmm.
Then we have the Ignite command as well. I think he just... I suppose he wants to try and get as much tempo on the bot side as he can to be able to support his jungler. So as long as they can keep their lane priority with the teleport, they don't think they're going to have to fight early. Kind of like an Ezreal. Where they just perma-shove the wave or can Q farm on a tower if they need. And then be able to shove the lane out and get back in time before having to miss anything or get frozen. I think that's kind of the idea he has going here, but personally I still think the heal would have been fine.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, he changed it.
He did change the last second to heal.
He did go heal last second.
He listened to the words of wisdom.
Okay, I guess that was almost a really big mistake from Dealin. Now, Big Brain Mid, you talked about it before. He also has teleport, which you did say that he probably would take.
Yeah, in this matchup, honestly, well, the big surprise here is Sawyer taking Ignite over a Cleanse or something. That just means he gets caught at all. He's
dead.
just dead. Yeah.
Yeah, Sawyer is definitely going to play very aggressive. I assume he wants to get a solo kill or at least some kills so that he can get the ball rolling and he can snowball somewhere on the map.
This is a very all or nothing strategy coming out of the side of Sawyer, at least in the with a mid lane 2v2. Where the Gragas obviously has to keep his distance from the Xin Zhao the best he can. But if they can get the jump in the 2v2, they can blow somebody up. They do have the burst potential.
Mm-hmm.
But again, Lysandre does have the lane priority because of the better pushing.
Yeah, so it seems like all in all, Eradication is going to have a very hard time in this early game. They have to get the perfect fights. They have to get the fights that they want every time in order to succeed, it seems like.
Yeah, they lack a more instant wave clear kind of thing, where they have the side of Sivir instant wave clear. Lysandre, overall better wave clear than the entire side of Eradication. Where of course they do have the Cho'Gath, the Gragas, and if they need to, a Distortion. But still not the most optimal for having to get sieged on, which clearly is what SKIZM and SKIZM would like to try and do, at least into the mid game.
Yeah, as it's been for a long time, it seems like it's definitely going to try to be SKIZM's job to get Gaudier on a carry champion. He's on his Xin Zhao, which he's played a lot of. He's very proficient on this character. And if he can get a lead and he can get the ball rolling, and he will definitely be a huge crux for SKZ winning this series.
There's also something to bring up that Gaudier has been playing a lot of Xin Zhao in the recent 3 months. He was known as
more games than Graves.
Yeah. He was known to be more of an Evelyn one-trick, so to speak, beforehand, where people had it almost permabanned against him. But then the Xin Zhao changes had come through, a couple buffs here and there possibly, and he suddenly just started playing that a lot more to a pretty good successful number. He's staying around a 64% win rate, a 3.2 KDA, doing pretty well for himself, not to mention the exploit.
Well, as the time ticks down and we give Gaudier a little bit of praise and a little bit of flame, we will be getting into this game. But first, we're going to have a little bit of a short intermission.
My name is Tim Borseth, and I own and operate GXPC in Decorah, Iowa. GXPC is a geek paradise. We carry everything from Pong and Atari all the way to Xbox One and PS4, and all the games that would go with those consoles as well. We also carry a ton of movies. We have handheld games. We have Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon. We have D&D and Pathfinder. We carry Warhammer 40K. We have a vintage Star Wars selection. This place is great. My wife and I have had 6 kids, and they are so much fun to work with here at the store. They run the store as much as I do.
And we now repair cell phones, game consoles, computers, and small electronics.
Our store is instant fun. Not only is there cool music and cool stuff to look at, but we have a game room that is so much fun. It's free to play, and you just plug in your game system and enjoy life. The GameXP motto is bringing joy to people's lives through our products, people, and a place to play. So you have got to come to Decorah, Iowa and check out GamesXP and experience this geek gaming paradise.
Alright, everybody, welcome back. We are now getting into the game Eradication versus SKIZM, game 1 of this best of 3 series. I'm sorry for the delay, we had a little bit of technical difficulties, but luckily we will now be getting into it a little bit later than usual, though.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody's patience for the time being. Looks like we are getting a line of scrimmage coming out of both sides, and lots of random
pings.
things.
Lots of pings. And Big Bray gets to start the lead off right with an extra 10 gold and 1 CS.
A bit of a wasted ward in a competitive environment like this, but hey, who cares, right?
A little bit weird as we get into this game, we get into the starting items. It's a little bit weird to see how many corrupting potions are being used in this game. Sawyer and Revnon both choosing to go for it. I understand Revnon, but it seems weird to see it on LeBlanc de Lissandra.
Honestly, with the LeBlanc at this point, I'm assuming he's taking time to work tonic still. Obviously, it was never really touched after it was reworked. Still, a really good map. The Urgot and Cho'Gath, pretty self-explanatory in my opinion. It just works really well with their rapid application. And spikes.
Looks like Gaudia right now is starting off with a very normal start of buff into Other Scuttle. And unfortunately, Kind Words, he got buff to buff. So he's going to be a little bit behind here in this early game.
Yeah, he did not secure the bottom side scuttle, and if you look at that actually, SKZ is going down to secure the bottom side scuttle to deny this. from the Gragas. As we were speaking of before, this is not good for the Gragas early on.
Not at all. Dylan getting a nice amount of gold for it, actually. And a lot of mana back. That's really good for the side of Schism. Gonna affect Gragas' pathing very much.
Yeah, he'll come down there, he'll take a quick look at the scuttle, be a little disappointed with himself, go back to farming for a little bit, maybe look for the counter gank around the mid. That's
Well, they
kind
saw
of
it on
how
the
he's
ward,
going to have
though.
to play out. Yeah, okay, you're right. They didn't see it go down, you're right. Kind of forgot about that. Do see him pathing a little bit towards the top side. They just caught the fact the other scuttle was down there, so he goes to Crow.
It's weird to see how the stop lane matchup's going on because Revenant seems to be pushing Rampage in pretty hard here.
Yep, early on, Cho'Gath with his Vorpal spikes will definitely have the push prior until Urgot gets a couple lulls into the queue and maybe a component. But that's just Cho'Gath for you early on. So drive the lane, push it out for early. Cho'Gath here comes a gank.
Ooh, Gaudier is here. He's going to go up onto Revenant. Rampage getting a lot of auto attacks on. Revenant is not in the place he wants to be. The phase rush pops. First blood going over to Rampage and Schism.
And Gragas is just too late to the ball. It's already down, was sitting on a wall. Didn't quite see why the ward was there, but it did happen nonetheless.
This mid lane going exactly as you said. Big brain mid, pushing in Sawyer 24/7. Top lane though, seeing a lot more action than I expected.
Yeah, top lane, I mean, you had the Cho'Gath push priority. It was punished, and it was a good punish from the side of Schism. We see the teleport coming back out, but there is no counter gank to come through that. Grag is just
Kind words. Yeah. That's toxic.
making a quick acquaintance with the mid lane, making sure, hey, I'm still here, even though you're kind of getting the jump on me early. He's used some action at the Raptors.
Ooh,
And to steal some
kind
smalls.
words. Ooh, he got 3 of those Raptors. It's actually a pretty alright take for him.
It's not quite a scuttle grab, but it's a little bit of XP, at least back in his pocket.
It's something at this point he has to take what he can get. But you're in this mid lane. Soren Big Brain trading back and forth as per usual.
Yeah, but LeBlanc just having such a hard time trading with this Lysandra due to the aftershock. That gets procced. Just all Lysandra needs is a Q to land just to be out-traded to LeBlanc, because LeBlanc doesn't quite have the pen items yet to deal with it. If at all, for the time being.
Yeah, it's going to be a little while before Sawyer can look for a really hard trade there in that mid lane matchup. A lot of pings going down on a Big Brain mid, though, as they spotted him getting a deep ward. Oh, but here's a little trouble in the jungle. Gaudier secures it, but Dylan, he's walking up on this pike. Achilles is going to jump away. That looks like it's going to be the end of the little skirmish in the jungle.
They get the ward, they get the pike out with the chunk, and they get the Scuttle Crab. Not good for the Gragas early on. Good denial coming out of the side of Schism. Making sure they use their lane priority effectively, getting what they can. What we haven't seen much of yet is Gaudier actually attempting to invade on the Gragas. For instance, with the Gragas showing there, with being chunked still, he could have immediately gone straight into the top of the jump for him and taken Raptors away.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Gaudier does have the 1v1 wins and out, destroys Gragas early, and he seems to still be playing pretty respectively towards Conor Donley.
Maybe this early point. He said at this point, if he went invaded there, he had all 3 pushing lanes at the time. They would have already been gone by the time LeBlanc came over here to check. They know the ward is there. Oddly enough. Oh, it's been spotted.
Ooh, Gaudier dodges the chain. There's a lot of good vision control up in this top side for Team Eradication. One control ward doing them wonders right now.
As we do see, just kind of pushing back and forth in the top lane. It looks like the Urgot is kind of going back towards the Kindle Gem for first item. So we're looking towards maybe a Black Cleaver for first item. Nothing of the usual. LeBlanc establishing a little bit of roam dominance early on. Not showing, just kind of faking a recall. Lysandra on the way back to lane.
Achilles, though, up at this top side. Revenant, oh, he canceled the dash. Urgot has to flash away from this hook. So far, he will not. He flashes into the pike dash, into the combo, into the chomp. Revenant getting that comeback kill down on a Rampage in this 1v1 matchup.
Not the greatest hook angle coming out of the pike, but it just still paid off because he read the flash. Really smart coming out of Achilles. A really good roam, and they will get the blue buff out of the side of God, who is currently on the dragon. Well, we see LeBlanc coming down.
Yeah, Gaudier's on the dragon, but Sawyer, he knows this is happening. He doesn't want to let it happen. He's got the ult. He gets the ignite. Does not hit the... Ooh, a beautiful save. The Frozen Tomb for Big Brain saves Gaudier. Barely surviving off a hair of that fight.
Got the heal out of Delon as well, who I believe flashed for that, actually. We will
Yes,
see a
he did.
turret putting fall in the tops, or a second one at least. Oh, is he going to leave
close.
it?
Revnon is going to leave it. He's actually respecting the Rampage's damage.
He didn't opt for Sunfire or anything. I think he could have just set the extra auto in. It's only 91 health. Yeah, he could have just one more auto and would have had it. It was an auto reset.
Is it an auto reset on Cho'Gath?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I never knew that.
At least last I checked. We do see Gragas back towards the top side. No real camps to do it, so I guess he's just kind of looking to establish more vision control. Oh, no, he's going back to the top side looking for a gank opportunity.
Yeah, Revnon didn't reset, and he's using it to his advantage, because Rampage thinks he has the lead here. And it looks like Chimeran's only. He's going to try to abuse this. He does have the explosive cast, and Revnon has the feast, but no mana. Rampage has to outplay this. He's doing his best. The explosive cast comes through. Rampage can get the flip down. Revnon trying to walk forward. Rampage will actually survive this, as they have to respect the Fear Beyond Death from Rampage. His ult could 100% give him a double kill.
Really good buffer coming out of the side of Rampage with that dash. If he didn't do that, he would have, one, taken a tower shot or two, and probably died, because that would have been enough. We do see Zendal getting collapsed on a bit here at a LeBlanc.
Yeah, Sawyer. Sawyer's trying to stop him again. He lands the bind on a Big Brain mid, the chain, my mistake. Laxon, however, might look for the bind. He will not. SKIZM, they still want this blue buff, though. Achilles on the flank. He's trying to stop it. He throws the hook, but it's black shielded. Sawyer's on the backside here, but Dylan catches him out. This could be his death. The bind, the chain will not land. Achilles trying to get a good flash and dash. Fortunately, it's not going to work out well for him. A lot of damage. The ignite, he is going to try to heal it up. He's doing his very best. Kind Words only gets bound. Dylan grabs a kill. Here comes Big Brain mid to fix it up.
With an absolute snipe. Absolute snipe out of Dylan to finish off that pike. It just walked into the vision of the ward in the brush after he'd cleared. Would have survived the ignite tick due to the healing from Pike. Oh,
Big Brain mid. A little bit of a small brain mistake, though.
He just flashed in place, and that was a kill. That's a mess up right there, that's for sure.
Man, you hate to see that. That just feels so bad to watch. But Bodast making the 1v2 happen, gets a kill on the Laxon. Very well played from him. The MIA teams go down to Laxon.
Absolutely punished for taking a tower shot there. Morgana ult down, binding was already thrown in down, just went right in for it. Ignite expended, sure, but it's just nothing to be any avail here.
Ooh. If that hook landed, that would have been almost certain death for Dylan without any of his summoners there.
Good shield nonetheless. We do see Gragas clearing vision on the top side. They're looking for a slight collapse. Don't think Brain has much to stop him though.
Oh, Big Brain mid's coming over. Will not land any of his CC as Kind Words does have to burn the flash.
Good respect flash, but Big Brain would have missed the route regardless if they don't have ultimate, which they had the information on that.
They might look for the counter collapse here. Big Brain mid, he's getting chained up. He's getting explosive casted. Here comes Achilles. You can't miss that dash. And Big Brain mid gonna get chunked down and killed.
Absolutely put to shame there. Just absolutely punished. You knew the Gragas was still in the area. You had vision on his camp earlier on. Either you think he's pathing bot side, which I guess is what he was thinking there, or he's there still. Just greedy.
Yeah, just absolute disrespect from Big Brain mid there. I guess he thought he could survive the 1v2, but he has no flash, he has no Frozen Tomb. That's just going to be a death.
Yeah, even if he did have Frozen Tomb, I don't think they had the collapse just in time. They were trying to, but then he was just kind of dead by the time they were there.
And it also causes Gaudier to lose a Raptor. Man, that's just really sad to see. 70 gold, gone because his mid laner accidentally died once.
Unlucky. Do you see a little bit more skirmish?
Here on the top side, yeah, we see Gaudier up there. He gets pinged out a lot. Meanwhile, bot side, we see Bodast and Achilles doing a lot of damage onto that turret.
This is where we will see the Tristana at least shine a bit more in the laning phase, where Now at this point, Dylan just kind of needs to get to a second item before he can really start pushing the. Which on his bomb will start one-shotting minion waves. He can kind of contest the wave, but obviously, alas, it is a Sivir.
Man, this game has been pretty back and forth. It looked really good for SKIZM in the beginning, but they're starting to get a little bit sloppy here. Do you think it's nerves, or do you think it's just Team Eradication pulling it together?
I think it's just being sloppy. Honestly, they're not exactly a team to succumb to nerves, to our knowledge of individual players. They're just making slightly aggressive plays and being punished for it. Maybe not using their brain, at least in the case with the collapse by the Rift Herald.
Yeah, well, here comes SKIZM. They're coming together, and they're going to say that they want this Infernal Drake. It's going down very low. Kind Words not going to be able to steal it. Looks like it's going to go to SKIZM. And no one really tried to fight them there either, you know. Kind Words went for it, backed away.
Just didn't have much of a chance with the Morgana being there. Would have just stopped him in his tracks and would have died if he went. We do see almost an entire level accumulated for the Zinzao over the Gragas at this point. A very sizable. We should see possibly a die on the bottom side there to finish First Blood Tower.
And that turret is very, very low.
But the Eradication is kind of reading the play. They're reading the play. Nope, they're not reading the play. They decided not to. They considered it and said it's not happening, and decided to go back to lane. Or they're forfeiting the tower and looking for the swap.
Yeah, looks like you get that tower.
I guess they accepted the fact that they cannot fight them now at that point and cut their losses. It wasn't quite not a fast enough snap decision on their side, because by the time the tower was going down, LeBlanc was just like Wing against the minion wave. See Pike. Oh.
So as we see the harpoon, we see that Killy misses it. What do you? Oh, never mind. It looks like Sawyer might try to make a play here. The Frozen Tomb is up. Big Brain mid doing a fair amount. As soon as Sawyer comes through, he's probably going to get ulted. Big Brain is going to get stunned. Ooh, Sawyer turns around. Unfortunately, the Pike ult does not do anything as it is beautifully shielded up. Gaudier throwing out the ult. The explosive cast will not do any damage to him. A beautiful disengage. And
Big Brain man. Timing his ult been perfectly there. We do see Super slip to the tops. We do see Gragas and Tristana and Morgana also collapse.
Ooh, Gaudier with the dive gets the kill, and Rampage, he's up this top side on Revnon. He's trying to get that kill. He pulls him in. The Fear Beyond Death. Kindward's only doing his best. Laxid, the beautiful prediction from Kindward's only, but Dylan, he's getting solo killed up here. Vodast, he might be in a little bit of trouble, but no, Rampage is much too low, and he's going to have to run away.
Just an absolute mess of a fight there. The Cho'Gath going down off the bat was really good, but they ended up diving into the tower and going behind the tower, leaving Tristana to just straight up devour Sivir early on in with the fight. Overall, still, I mean, this is a net win for the side of Eradication. They stemmed some of the bleeding here. Tristana's getting some items. LeBlanc, on the other hand, still relatively useless, as we predicted. We do see Gragas and Pike up here on the top side, shadowing Tristana. Kind of looking for the play top.
So at what point in this game do you see Eradication's composition really popping off and showing what they do?
3 items for Tristana. That is their win condition at this point. And then not letting Sivir get to 6. That is kind of how they have to win this game, and they have to blow it open during Tristana's 100% crit power. Good steal.
Oh, Achilles stole it. Oh,
That's rough.
200 damage harpoon steals the blue buff. And Pike really likes blue buff.
Yeah, that's rough.
It's
Really
really
our forced play coming here in the mid lane.
Big Brain mid. Yeah. Kindward's only gets the flash off. Big Brain, he does have the Frozen Tomb. He's going to have to get the ult off. A good flash, a failed explosive cast. Big Brain been going very low. The Q will not land. Kindward's only does not get the kill.
A little overzealous. I don't honestly think the flash was necessary there. At least wait for for Lissandra to try and start charging the claw before you commit the flash. At least they got the flash in return from Lissandra.
It is a flash for flash. It seems a little bit more important that Gragas has his flash, though, because he can't make any of those big fancy plays he wants to do for the next 5 minutes, and that's going to hurt him a lot.
Yeah, and he's taking the blue off from the LeBlanc, who at this point in time just finished their Luden's Echo. Going to be really mana hungry, trying to save out the Lissandra's wave to no avail, really, because it's proto about Lissandra.
Yeah, we talked earlier about how Eradication was just starting to stem the bleeding. It was just starting to come back. But SKIZM has still kept the gold lead consistent, and they're still playing relatively cleanly. You know, they've made a couple of mistakes. They've had some sloppy fights. But overall, they're keeping their lead constant.
See more guys fishing for bindings here, and yeah, Pike nothing's going to happen here. Yeah, SKIZM definitely trying to put the pedal in the middle. We do see Gaudier trying to initiate more dives like he did in the Pike earlier. This tower should go down next wave, assuming that they collapse for it. That would be the smart idea, with the Infernal Drake coming out.
Yeah, it does seem like they have all 5 people in and around the river. It looks like they're going to keep Rampage bot. So he does have teleport. Here comes Dylan and Lax, and this turret shouldn't last much longer.
Yep, with the mid priority happening there, they can also start the dragon on the other side. There's in our Raptors. The dragon should already be started, but this should still be theirs regardless as to our top. Pike showing.
They have the entire bot lane top. It seems like a little bit almost. It seems like the right play to me.
To have both of the bottom lane top? I think it's an overreach. You had vision of everyone.
Bodast at least. I don't know if they can contest the Ocean Drake right now.
It should only have been Tristana top lane, is the point. Give the solo go to your win condition. Commit the Plague down somewhere else. Maybe try and fish for an object. Maybe look for a steal. Now we see them taking the Herald. They're just walking over the map, and Eradication is doing nothing to try and stop them at this point in time.
Yeah, we gave Eradication some credit for stopping the bleeding, and it seems like they're kind of letting it happen now. The explosive cast, a good attempt. I respect it. Unfortunately, not going to be the steal this time.
Still late for that. Now they just get both, and well, this is where SKIZM's Siege Combo is going to start coming online. We should see the next item coming out of Dylan here.
So what do you think SKIZM should be doing right now to push their lead?
Well, they got Rift Herald. That was step 1. They can now, honestly, just kind of push it down mid. With Baron coming up, they can get priority, get the vision established in the area, and force a face check coming out of probably the Pike. Is the best bet, as he can kind of go invis and semi, not get it hit immediately. But they can play around Baron. They'll have wave control with their pushing lane. They'll be able to herald either the top outer turret, or they could look for an interplay with a dive with Lissandra.
So since SKIZM clearly has the lead right now, they've gotten a lot of momentum. They're going to look to push forward with that momentum after Gaudier farms his young a little bit. So we have a little bit of time. How do you think Eradication comes back from this?
They need to make a stellar pick. That's what they need to do. They need to try and somehow they need to get Sivir and like Xin off the, so that they don't have no objective killing for a response saying they lost a trade or so. But we are seeing them group around the mid lane. LeBlanc is in a side lane now. That took long enough. She's still on only 1 item in boots. And then she's not staying in the side lane. She probably should be. She can't ever really contribute to a team fight at this point in time, as they cannot win one unless they somehow disturb the entire fight, get Xin into the back line, and just kind of blow him up.
Yeah, it seems like this LeBlanc pick has unfortunately been a little bit of the crux of Team Eradication's issues. Haven't been able to utilize their mid laner very well.
They have constantly been trying to reclaim control in the mid lane. Lissandra has done, or I guess we should say Brain mid here, has done a great job at least controlling that. We do see LeBlanc trying to get a little damage in here. What the chain means nothing to the auto attack.
Yeah, absolutely nothing.
We do see the research from mid lane, a little poke towards the Pike. No fear coming out of Dylan. So we see LeBlanc first.
Dylan is playing ADC like he played mid, and he's playing very aggressive. Not on Malzahar though, and I'm enjoying this new Dylan.
We do see a collapse coming on the top side here.
Ooh. But there's Gaudier. Achilles throws the hook. I don't even want to think about what would have happened if he actually landed one.
If he landed one, I don't think he got pulled over the wall. I think he got pulled to the wall. Maybe a little bit of poke. That's it.
Well, on the off chance that he did get pulled into the wall, which I agree, I don't think it would have, but if he did, probably would have been a free double kill for whoever got pulled.
Possibility. We do
right now,
things coming out of mid lane.
Rampage and Revnon in this bot side. Revnon seems to have got Rampage in a little bit of a bind here. He's Righteous Glorying forward. The knockup doesn't land, and he might get collapsed on here. Here comes Dylan. Another Righteous Glory coming out from Rampage. Dylan walking forward. Rampage going to flash up on him. Revnon, the bind does not land. He is very low. Fear Beyond Death. That is a lot of cooldowns for an Urgot, or for the Cho'Gath. Gaudier getting engaged on. A beautiful read. Dashing away from the explosive cast will save Gaudier's life as he drops the Rift Herald. He will not get canceled, luckily. Very close to it.
And on the other side,
right now, though, forcing the bot lane.
And on the other side, we do see Sawyer going down in the 1v1 2 big bang. Just Lysandre him. No.
And SKIZM right now are trying to push the lead that they have. They got a lot of momentum here off that little bit of a play, and they're going to look for the inhibitor, maybe a little bit more. The binding lands onto the pike. Achilles not in a good position. Gaudier, Black Shield, he will be fine. He's going to run away.
They're starting not to greed for the play.
Retreat.
They will turn for the Air Drake as a consolation. They lost a turret top as well. Honestly, just losing across the map at this point. I don't see a win condition anymore for the side of Eradication. They're just going to slowly bleed on this one. They should start thinking of the next game.
Unfortunately, it seems like Eradication, after that little bit of a mid-game loss, are not trying to force any little bits of lead that they have, and it seems like they're going to try to take this one lying down.
Coming to mind thinking about it, I think the only real way they have back into this game is somehow Revenant showing up and getting some really big Cho'Gath feast onto like Baron, for instance. That's like, that gives them the stall they'd need for Tristana. LeBlanc might eventually be able to find some kind of pick along with the games goes on. At this point, I don't even think she could one-shot Sivir without Spell Shield.
No, I completely agree. And the hardest part about Cho'Gath trying to alt-steal the Baron is that he doesn't have Flash right now, so it's nearly impossible for him to be able to just flash over, to get over that wall, as long as there's no Blast Cone, and just get that Baron away.
As of this moment, it's going to be a dance. He's also stuck in base, he does have teleport, but looks like his way in the pit will be a teleport, if anything, as he is the one who is answering Superman. We do not see a force coming into that yet. I'm surprised we don't even see a fight of his red buff, honestly, now that they know that Cho'Gath won't be there in time.
And as we get into this play, you have to remember that TP cannot be cancelled. So if Revnon makes a really bad TP, he's taking it no matter what. It is ride or die. And as SKIZM starts the Baron, Revnon's going to have to consider whether or not he's willing to ride or die right now. Achilles trying to make the play happen. Revnon is going to teleport in. Rampage gets put over the wall. SKIZM wants to fight this. Revnon is not in here. The suppression comes through the eat. Achilles is very low, going to ult on a Big Brain who is going to die. Revnon up in this backside. He's trying to do what he can, but Rampage is there with his team. He's going to get a kill down onto the Cho'Gath. Bodast is here. Big Brain wants to fight this. He gets the kill. He gets the ult. The Frozen Tomb saves him, and they are going to look to end this game.
That's just it. And after all of that, Lysandre was able to hold all the way until the final. That's a lot of emoting going on there. Little BM, but, you know.
Unfortunately, it seems like SKIZM, they will be able to take this 26 minutes. A very good showing near the end of the mid-game. 1-0 for SKIZM in this best-of-3 series.
Yeah, really good consistent effort coming out of SKIZM. Little shaky early on. They got answered back and forth, but once they got that Zen to this first Triforce, they just put the pedal to the metal and ran away with it.
Yeah, SKIZM definitely showing that Xin Zhao is actually pretty scary, as is the Urgot. We will get into the next draft, and maybe we will see something different out of SKIZM, and we'll be back in just a moment. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Game 2, Schism versus TE. We're going to get into the draft pretty soon. We accidentally went into the wrong draft, but it should all be done in a little minute. And then we will be able to watch the second game draft and then subsequently the game. And we will see if Schism will 2-0 or if they will get tied up.
Yeah, looking into the next game, we're hoping to see maybe a bit more life coming out of the side of Eradication. And hopefully not LeBlanc into a team like that again. Preferably not. That was kind of suicide, let's be real here.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was definitely a little bit unfortunate to see. I didn't think that the LeBlanc was good at all. I thought there were a bunch of other champions that they could have picked. And I did check the damage charts, but I guarantee that the LeBlanc did under 10k.
Yeah, I should have checked that too. Oops. I did. Actually, it was 12.
Oh, wow. I'm actually really surprised.
Yeah, she was still doing damage, just Lysandra was, tanky. Very tanky. Aftershock. It's a very good mastery.
Yep. LeBlanc is a little bit ridiculous, and it seems like in this game, Eradication has a new top laner.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they do not have Renovo. Instead, they have JJ News.
What?
Yeah.
Productions. Okay, so we have a new top laner coming into the scene. Not the same guy. Waiting to hear a word back on that one in a moment. But for the time being, we have a new guy named JJ News. Second we learned something about him.
Everyone is pressing R on the pro draft. And we're all pretty confused. We don't know who JJ knew. Alright, JJ News is so up top. If he's on the right, then that means they get bans. So we're gonna get this figured out. If JJ News is on the roster, okay, they are an E-sub. Okay, so he is an E-sub, so they will still not be getting bans, and a new top laner.
Okay. So, looking into the new guy, he does not seem to be much of a top laner.
Okay.
Playing a bit of Kled, some Scion, a little bit of Vladimir.
Alright.
Mainly Malphites. Lots of Malphite. So maybe we'll be looking at a little bit of a farm lane. We'll have to see.
Well, different from last game, I'd imagine.
Slightly. We had Shogath last, so maybe we'll move from Shogath to an actual engage. So we are getting some ready checks in chat. We'll see where that goes just a second here. Does it sound like we are still waiting on Eradication to confirm something? So, let's just... What do you think with this new top laner coming in then, here, Hickory? Just, you think he's going to spark the roster at all? Maybe ignite some light under the fire?
I don't know who Hickory is.
Whoops.
But...
It says that in the docs, alright.
I don't know who Hickory is, but I like Pronovo. I thought he did a very good job last game. I think he did, at least early in lane. He was giving Rampage a bit of a run for his money. He got early ganked, unfortunately. He didn't have the vision in order to stay safe, but I still think he did a good job.
Oh, I don't think he was the reason they lost. But it's more so to see maybe this top laner can be the reason they win. Maybe.
Alright, so we have a new spectator one, so we have to click on that new link.
Okay.
And hopefully we can get this draft started. Here we go. First draft started. Eradication. Absolutely no bans, unfortunately. So we're going to have to wait out the timer, and then we get to see what Schism bans. Do you expect them to go in with the same draft as last game?
Adjusting from blue side to red side, I believe there could be a couple changes they could look at. Maybe to guarantee a first pick. I mean, Eradication, obviously still, again, don't have any bans. Word from that was their top laner went to emergency surgery. So condolences to him, and hopefully he's all is well with them. We do see, yes, we do see an adaptation here. Scion is the first ban. As we did see Darius being the first ban last time around, they are still targeting out the top lane.
Yeah, it's actually fairly interesting to see the Scion ban. I don't think he was played at all last game.
Yeah, I believe he went right through draft and was not touched, even though the top laner did also play him. Again, no ban.
So far, a little bit interesting. Obviously, no ban. SKIZM banning Galio again. They don't seem to be a fan of that champion.
Yeah, which is weird because Brainman himself has, as anybody who watched the playoffs for the previous season, he found a lot of use of Galio, lots of success and use for Galio in the playoffs. I suppose they just are straying away from that strategy for the time being, trying to give him a bit more freedom, so to speak, even though he's playing Lissandra.
Yeah. You don't have to play Galio anymore. You can play Lissandra now. You're basically Galio. but you don't. But now you're ranged. So
now you're the actual engage and not the secondary.
Well, it's a slow change, because Galio's melee, now Lissandra's ranged, and then they move on to something else. And then I like this ins-out ban from SKIZM is they're respecting that pick has a lot of power.
Yeah, giving that as a first pick could always prove troublesome. This is a very good first pick coming out of the side of Eradication. I don't think there's too many lanes at this current moment that can really bully Lissandra out too hard, as Aftershock is a very strong mastery as of this moment.
I want to see Big Brain mid on Vel'Koz. I want to see Big Brain mid go Vel'Koz into Lissandra and show Eradication what I was talking about. Because I know Crown picks it, even though he's an NA player. And I know Faker plays it. So I think that it would be absolutely amazing to see it picked here.
I don't know, it looks like we were running back the Morgana Sivir. Once again, had plenty of success in that in the previous game. If we ignore the fact that Tristana kind of hopped on them a little bit in lane and afterwards.
Yeah.
Worked pretty well aside from that. We do see the Urgot coming through possibly again, except for this time for Eradication.
Yeah, Eradication picking up that Urgot. I like that a lot. SKIZM going with the old if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Eradication fixing a lot thus far.
So far, they've taken 2 pieces of the old SKIZM draft, along with a new piece in the Caitlyn pick. This is pre-change before the buffs come through. The new crit items are not here yet. The Caitlyn buff isn't here. I believe there's a Caitlyn buff.
There's not.
Okay, well the crit item changes are not here yet, as those are big enough, I suppose. Do you see the Graves coming back on the other side? Yeah, Caitlyn into Morgana Sivir.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Not
probably
the best
gonna be little. Yeah, it's probably gonna be little cakes of mana for Dylan. A little bit unfortunate. The Graves pick, I like that. Gaudier's a big fan of that champion. It's the second most played. And SKIZM respecting the Gragas pick.
Still no Evelyn.
Oh no, they're not respecting. They don't like Jax instead.
They still have one more ban.
I personally, I kind of like the Jax ban. I think Jax is a very strong champion and is super good at the Graves, who does not have a lot of bad early game matchups. But if you want to pick one, it would definitely have to be that Jax.
His early game isn't quite as strong as some main, as he is a late game kind of hyper bruiser carry thing. Abomination to some. But yeah,
are we talking about Graves or Jax? Because I think you're talking about
Jax.
Okay.
Specifically.
All right. Well, we're talking about both here a little bit.
Graves definitely. There is your power, and or you say Kha'Zix hover.
Kha'Zix.
That went right through last time.
Yeah, it did. Kha'Zix is actually prioritized very highly. I'm pretty sure it was seen in the Caspa Cup. It was not seen in the Demacia Cup, as far as I remember. A lot in solo queue though, and I know in scrims, a lot of professionals have been having to ban that champion out. Leaving the Gragas though.
So far, there's definitely, if Kha'Zix was to come through here for Team Eradication, they definitely have set up, aside from the bot lane. With their solo lanes, Kha'Zix could have gotten some pretty decent ganks off. Lissandra, obviously. If you root into Prism, that's a free kill for the Kha'Zix. Urgot, less set up. Oh, you see the Cassio. We've seen this banned by SKIZM last game.
I like that a lot. I like the Cassio very much. I think it's very strong. The matchup is a little weird in the Lissandra. It's kind of finicky, but at the end of the day, I definitely think that Cassiopeia wins overall.
Yep. I think SKIZM at least will respect the Lissandra enough to take Cleanse, hopefully.
Yeah, I would expect that.
We do see
to go Cleanse.
Yeah, we do see a bruiser at the top lane so far. Honestly, we could almost call. Oh, it's Zach.
Zach, the only tank that was played in the Kespa Cup in the jungle.
Interesting. Well, what do they intend to round this out with? A Nami?
It's weird. It's definitely weird that the last two picks from Eradication are definitely off. The Zach pick might just be to have a tank, but Eradication is a very beefy topside overall. Lissandra or God, they don't do nearly as much damage as other hyper carries would. I don't know if I like that pick.
Yeah. I think Team Eradication kind of runs out of damage in the mid game.
Yeah,
Of
I was
course,
thinking the same
it
thing.
ramps back up in the late game, but
Mhm.
early on,
Yeah,
it's
I get
definitely going to be down a bit.
Yeah,
Which is where SKIZM can thrive, is once they get to that 2-item spike, where Caitlyn is still trying to get to her third. Assuming
Yeah.
Lissandra goes Roa, she could also be in a down state during that time, but I think she'll have to go Proto Belt to be able to match the momentum. Good dive from the other side of SKIZM, but with a Nami, it could be crucial for the disengage here. We do get into the real pick and ban, so that runs through. Let's talk about matchups, I guess.
It's a different draft. Team Eradication, they seem to have a different idea of how the game should be played right now, which was evident by last game's draft, although unfortunately it didn't work out super well. It could work out this time, but they definitely have to get over that really bad bump where they have almost no damage and SKIZM is just getting spiked.
Yeah. At least for the top lane, I think they have an actual pushing lane for Eradication this time. Urgot should be able to push into Maokai early on. And then they can kind of neutralize the lane around level 5 or so. I don't think we'll see too much action there unless we get Maokai ganks onto the Urgot, as we kind of seen last game with the Pike. We do know supports like roaming up there, so that could be the volatile factor that they could be waiting for. Jungle, again, we have another jungler who is going to be avoided like the Zach will almost never want to see this Graves unless it's in a counter gank situation. Does not farm anywhere near as fast as Graves. Graves could easily go for a 3 buff in this game without much hesitation. The only problem being that Cassio will be pushed in early on by Alessandra, as she is a very good push mage. Or Cassio does run out of mana a lot sooner than she would, even post passive change. So it looks like SKIZM's bot side, at least when it comes to pushing lane, will be where Graves can play around. It'll be interesting to see if they do try and keep their scuttle control as high as it was before, as they will be able to skirmish a bit harder earlier on the side of Eradication.
Yeah, it's it's gonna be a tough one for Eradication. I'm sorry. It definitely seems like it's going to be a much tougher game for them than it is going to be for SKIZM. It's going to be work. They really got to get through that early game, and they got to power through that mid game. But if they can get to that late game, they have a very big wall for that Caitlyn.
Yes, but there's also a Maokai on the other side. That's the thing to be remembered here. So if they do get to those late game situations, Zach needs to do his job, and he needs to do it well. If they can combo together well with a Zach ult, say they catch 2 or 3 members into a Nami wave plus bubble, that's 7-8 seconds of CC uninterrupted. Assuming that there's no clunch or QSS in that mix. Yeah, they can team fight very well later on, but they need to make it to that point. As we've seen, SKIZM likes to put the pedal to the metal in the mid game.
Yeah, now as the loadout ticks down, we get the next 4 minutes to chat about this game. So, from last game, we saw the bot lane of SKIZM slowly pick up their leads, and really just roll the map with it. Do you think they're going to be able to do that again this game?
Well, when it comes to the bot side, this should be an absolute farm lane. They both have relatively good push. Sivir slightly favored, of course, especially with the Morgana. But I don't see this being pushed under towers without jungle pressure. This should be a relatively back and forth pushing lane. We shouldn't really end up seeing many dives. Zach diving Morgana Sivir is pretty suicide. I think this bot lane is going to be very, very boring, at least to say, for the early portions. But it is SKZ, so you never know.
I think the mid lane is probably going to be the most exciting because Big Brain mid, he gets a lot of ways to fight Sawyer. If he lands one good Q or even like an okay Q, he can just all in Sawyer, and it's really hard for him to return onto the Casio because the E is just out of the W range.
Cass, as long as Big Brain mid it manages to at least stave off the ability for Lissandra to proc her aftershock, he can win trades without a problem
Mm-hmm.
if he's initiating them. Of course, he does need to be very aware of counter initiation.
Although the cleanse is going to be extremely important for him, and he definitely has to keep an eye on that timer.
Yeah. Okay.
So right now there are two bets going on. You can either bet for SKIZM to win if you think they're going to win it all, or you could bet for TE to win if you think that Team Eradication is going to win it all. So with that, and seeing as how we favor SKIZM so highly, how do you think Eradication wins this and pulls the game to a tie, or the series to
In
a
this
tie?
particular game, they
Yes.
just need to manage to drag this game out to 30 or more minutes is what they need to do. If they can get over that 30-minute mark, get Kalen at least decently well farmed, looking at at least like an 8 CS per minute average going into that mark, they should be fine to at least get into a position to fight for this win. They have a really strong team fight going into that line as long as they land their stuff and don't like completely whiff and engage and then just get eaten alive.
All right, so let's say that the game does hit 30 minutes. How does SKIZM win at that point?
They run them over with Silver Maokai. A good old Season 3 class.
And there's nothing wrong with the classics. There's a reason that they're a classic. Honestly, the Maokai pick, I don't know why, but we don't see it ever. But I was not surprised by it at all. It just seems like the Zac pick just overtook it, even though we've seen Zac more than we've seen Maokai. So what do you think the thought process is behind the Maokai and the Urgot?
The thing about the Maokai here is just he's always a level of consistency when it comes to at least, he's the easy brain dead tank that can find the engages, he can survive lane. He's also really good, obviously, at avoiding tower dives, as we used to know. Him back in the good old tower dive metas, level 2.
Back when Impact was on Cloud9.
Or the famous Dyrus one where 3 people died trying to dive him. The one good play he was known for back then.
Dyrus was a little bit of a magnet back in the day. Let's see if Rampage can try to avoid being the magnet as the clock slowly ticks down. We don't have a whole lot of time before we have to go into our commercial break. So again, you can bet 15 minutes left. SKIZM versus TE. Who do you think is going to win? Now, we're going to go on a short iteration. 100% of people apparently have SKIZM. That's a pretty interesting statistic. Now we're going to get into this little commercial break.
My name is Tim Borseth, and I own and operate Games XP in Decorah, Iowa. Games XP is a geek paradise. We carry everything from Pong and Atari all the way to Xbox One and PS4, and all the games that would go with those consoles as well. We also carry a ton of movies. We have handheld games. We have Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon. We have D&D and Pathfinder. We carry Warhammer 40K. We have a vintage Star Wars selection. This place is great. My wife and I have had 6 kids, and they are so much fun to work with here at the store. They run the store as much as I do.
And we now repair cell phones, game consoles, computers, and small electronics.
Our store is instant fun. Not only is there cool music and cool stuff to look at, but we have a game room that is so much fun. It's free to play, and you just plug in your game system and enjoy life. The Game XP motto is bringing joy to people's lives through our products, people, and a place to play. So you have got to come to Decorah, Iowa, and check out Games XP and experience this geek gaming paradise.
Did it crash? Oh. Alright. Well, since Nick's game didn't crash, unlike the last time, we're going to get into it. We are 22 seconds in to SKIZM versus Team Eradication Game 2. SKIZM is up 1-0, and everybody seems to think that SKIZM is going to do it. So if you think Eradication has a chance, you can get a lot of points if you bet for them.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Yeah, with Eradication dogs at this point in time, at least considered by standards in the league. You see another line of scrimmage coming out of the teams. No unusual masteries. I guess we can talk about Graves, actually. He's got Fleet Foot with us. That's normally what I opt for, but I've been seeing a lot of lethal tempo recently. I don't know if you heard anything about that. I guess it's because his reload is a lot faster with it.
It's I think it's what Tarzan has been doing, the Korean jungler, not Tarzan, the Toxic Graves one trick. As far as I know, Tarzan has been doing it to make the reload a little bit faster, yes, and the shots in between each, but it's mostly for the reload.
Both have been, to be fair. Not just the. We do see a red start out of the Graves this time around instead of a blue start.
Topside starts for both junglers, which is fairly interesting.
Oh, Q's whiffing back and forth. Nami wins it in the end.
Yeah, last game was a double bot side start. Now it's a double top side start, and I haven't seen anyone start top side in a long time. I'm kind of interested to see how this transition.
The Graves made sense, and the Zac didn't. I suppose they recognized that both bottom lanes wanted to try and push for early priority, and then they both ended up showing that, hey, our junglers are both starting topside. So that'll be up to the jungler's discretion to see how they want to go about it. Zac is doing a 2-camp clear, skipping the scuttle so far. I assume he goes red next and not bottom scuttle.
Yep. Seems to be pretty basic coming out of everybody so far. No wacky runes this time. And no wacky starts.
A little bit of harass coming under. Oh, we see a gank here. Topside.
Oh, here comes Gaudier. He is behind JJ. He's going to get some auto attacks off, and so will JJ. And
Just loses that trade straight up. But okay.
Yeah. Pretty weird. Gaudier is actually invading. He's not looking for the scuttle. No, he's just gonna walk in, walk out. Expected, probably, that kind words would be on that buff. Speaking of kind words, he's going pretty low on this red.
He just snutted. He's pretty healthy now. The red is taken. He's going to the scuttle. Yeah, that's really, really weird. The fact that he walked into that jungle, as knowing it's in a Zac, knowing he had to receive a leash from the bottom side, and just, I guess they didn't relay the information that the bot lane didn't leash. It's very odd.
I'm not sure, but Gaudier is looking for another gank here. He is level 3 after his camps. He's going to walk around. That ward is going to see him, but it doesn't matter. Rampage with the twisted advance, and JJ News unfortunately did take a tower shot, so I think this might be it for him. Rampage going very low, though. JJ, not long for this world. First blood for Gaudier, as Sawyer and his jungler Kindword is going to try to get on a big brain. He's going to have to flash away.
Lots of pressure coming down from the Cassio early, but punished a bit there. I was like, whoa, why is this Lysandra going in on this? But thankfully Zac is there to back him up. But even then, bit of a losing trade. At least they got the flash out of it.
Yeah, big Balerian mid. Gonna have to run away from that one too. Unfortunately, loses this flash. Does have the cleanse though. Will not have to use that likely until Sawyer's level 6.
That is in all likelihood. Zac is still here.
Yeah, he could be looking for it, but big Balerian mid reads it. Ooh, he reads the jump to kind words. An unfortunate little dash from him and an MIA ping.
A little bit of an awkward. Probably lots of harass coming on the bottom side though.
Ooh, that was a good combo for coming out from Bodast. Actually, gonna drop fairly low from that one. He might be out of potions.
Lex. Oh yeah. He'll definitely lose the push for the time being due to that trade. But Sivir should still be able to get the majority of it, so it's not too big a deal. Bot side of the map is not in any contention right now. We will have our first dragon coming up. Is actually an Infernal Dragon.
This is going to be highly contested. Ooh. A little bit slow on the drop for the spell shield. Sawyer is actually using his TP, so there are no teleports on the side of Eradication. but SKIZM does have teleport on Rampage.
So what they're looking for right now with Eradication, you do see Zac going for the lane gank. The brush is not warded. Lissandra TP'd back. They know Cassius to back. They haven't seen Graves on the map. They could look to make a play around this Infernal. Here they go.
Kind words. Charging the Elastic Slingshot goes for it, but that's ganking a Morgana.
And Sivir.
Yeah, a little bit hard to gank Black Shield and Spell Shield, but you know, you do you. The bubble does not hit on Dylan, who chases a little bit further for another auto attack. It's just going to cause Achilles some mana, though.
Yeah, they had the idea, but very poor in execution. We do see Lissandra going towards the top side. We do see, as we were saying earlier, with the main lane, it kind of ended up getting kind of contested. Did you see Graves spotted Lissandra?
Here 100% saw Lissandra. There's level 6 for JJ. Rampage also just hit it. The ult's coming through the Twisted Advance. Gotti are trying to blind everybody. Ooh, but the Fear Beyond Death and the Frozen... What? How did Rampage get out of that?
I guess the Fear Beyond Death just wasn't in range.
He was getting pulled. Did the Frozen Tomb cancel it?
Possibly there's an interaction with the Maokai W that fizzled it.
I don't know.
That's my only thought here, is maybe he fizzled it with his W. There's
Well,
lots
either
of
way.
interactions with the Urgot ults, but that is not one I was aware of.
Either way, Rampage miraculously survives the Fear Beyond Death, despite the fact that he was beyond death.
Well, that's an interesting interaction.
A very interesting interaction, one that SKIZM is probably very happy about right now.
Yeah, keeps the member alive, loses Flash, mind you, but didn't lose anything else in their hands.
Yeah, costed Sawyer some CS, got Big Brain a little bit more of a lead here, not much, but a lead's a lead, especially for Cassiopeia.
We do see the blue buff being taken by the Zac here, actually. Very odd considering you have a Lissandra who's arguably really mana hungry these days since the passive change. At least early on. She looks also to be looking for a roam towards the bottom side. Is spotted out in a war. They're fighting the top side, but that's just tanks fights.
Yeah, GG News is fighting him right now. Man, this is definitely a different early game from game 1. More ganks, but more unsuccessful ganks. Ooh, the Twisted Advance from Rampage. He's trying to look for a fight on a JJ, and definitely looks like he's gonna win it.
Holding
The
tower
flick
range.
comes through. Ooh, he took a turret shot, but he did heal from his passive. Oh, Rampage might be looking for a dive here. He's walking forward. JJ News, he pops the heal. He's dead. Rampage, a beautiful dive and a beautiful 1v1 from him.
Maokai has come. His time has come, I guess.
I
Urgot
suppose
dying
so.
to a Maokai.
We found the counter pick, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have to ban Urgot anymore. You just pick Maokai. And then you get Rampage on your account.
We do have a clip in chat for the thing. I'm going to review that real quick.
I would appreciate that because I would love to know what happened there. That was really weird. I'm almost positive that JJ got the Fear Beyond Death off. Godir was going for the Drake, but unfortunately, Kind Words did get a little bit of a control ward there, so Gotti will have to back away. Kind Words looking for this gank here. He charges the Elastic Slingshot, goes for it. He's going to look for the slam. He gets it off. Rampage trying to teleport down to here, help his teammate, the Frozen Tomb, but Big Brain mid. He's got the cleanse. Rampage forces the enemy team off, and they might look for a plate here now that they're 3. They will.
It should be an easy play. This is a little greedy.
Ooh, Elastic Slingshot from Kind Words. Oh, Graves got here. He actually does get the kill here, and they're getting the Zac passive. Rampage tanking up for as long as he can. Gotti going to take another tower shot. Ooh, barely. He almost got together, but Rampage will get the kill. I think that's better than the turret plate.
Yeah, got a couple kills then. They'll still push it into 9 more creeps in a second. And
Well,
yet,
that Infernal
after
Drake's still up.
nobody's contested that yet. After reviewing the clip in chat, it does seem like the Maokai did either one, he fizzled it with his W, or with his auto attack before he flashed out, managed to heal out of the range. Because if you look, you do see he shows the actual charge on his body, and he is slowed when he flashes out. So I'm guessing he just healed out of the range with his passive. It doesn't look like he was used.
That could definitely be it because it's very obvious when Urgot ults or when he pulls you in, it throws him out and then it pulls him right back in. So if he did not see Maokai get moved, then I suppose he did heal it out with his passive. Very lucky from Rampage that he did that.
Yeah, for sure. Do you see a blue hand coming for the side of the Cassio? That's going to really, really put that in overdrive. We'll see Cassio starting to push this lane out real hard. We do see the collapse towards the dragon. Zac is on the bottom side, and they do see the ward. He'll have to path over to this. Urgot does have teleport.
That's gonna be a different play now that Rampage does not have teleport. The control ward's still there. Kind words. Oh, he's gonna look for that. Does not get the smite. He doesn't even go over. They're gonna have to try to fight here. Big Brain Mid is here. Kind words. He's gonna have to flash out of the pit if he wants to get away, or he's gonna have to ult. Big Brain Mid trying to zone them off. Sawyer on the side. He wants to make this play happen. Just got his frozen tube Achilles. Goes for the flash. The ace in the hole comes off. We'll get the damage down. Big Brain Mid going forward. Sawyer is going to survive for now. Gets the kill down on a Big Brain Mid. Kind words. He's gonna clap dealing with the Grump. But the spell shield will give him a little bit of mana. The flash from JJ and the kill down on the Laxton goes over to Bodas in the bot lane. Not sure what they're going to look for with this play, but Rampage, he's trying to get a little bit more here with the flash, twisted tree line. And they're going to look for this. Gaudier gets the collateral damage off Rampage up at this front line, but Dylan doing a very good job at doing some damage. Gaudier's going to have to run away before the Lissandra passive catches up to him. And what an insanely explosive fight coming out from Eradication, really showing some life.
Yeah, it comes down and ends up in a 2-for-2. The two tanks end up going down for exchange for the Cass and the Maokai. But as consolation, SKIZM does make out as like bandits because they do get the Infernal Dragon, which only furthers their cause in the late game against this Caitlyn comp. Looking to be Caitlyn is still going for the first item, Storm Rage. Oddly enough, we do see the Luden's Echo actually as the first item of choice for Lissandra. Well, there's the three options normally: the Proto Belt, the Roa, and then the Luden's Echo. Luden's Echo gives a bit more pushing prio early, and not quite as much as a Proto Belt will, but it does give him the mana that he would need to sustain lane, which I suppose he ended up needing because the jungler ended up taking all the blue buffs and still has.
And pretty interesting. I still think the Proto Belt would have been better because it would have given him some health, a little bit more of a dash there too.
Still think the blue buff should have been taken by him and not the Zac, who is even arguably still down in levels even after being able to take. Graves is just getting so many camps over him at this point in time with a very, very large CS lead starting to pile up in the jungle.
Yeah, Gaudier right now is just absolutely out jungling Kind Words only. Might be due to the matchup since Graves does have a pretty good lead in that. Kind Words is taking the blue buff, surprisingly, on the Zac.
That's tilting.
Yeah, just a little bit, but it looks like they're going to try to 4-man Big Brain Mid here. He does have Cleanse. He's actually walking away. He might be able to win this. He gets the ult off, but he's still very low. Sawyer doing what he can. The Elastic Slingshot comes through. Big Brain Mid. A beautiful dodge on that Q will save his life. Wow, that was really good from him.
There were so many misplays in that one situation. I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, both sides didn't play that super well. Big Brain Mid hitting every skill shot that he could, but man, was that aggressive. Gaudier. Oh, he did not get the Grump. It looks like he's going to die for it. The Fear Beyond Death. You have no passive heal on you, Gaudier. Oh, but it will not go through the Elastic Slingshot. Going to be the end of him. Rampage trying to 1v3 now. Sawyer is also here. A couple of roots coming in from Rampage, but he's going to get picked up, dropped down under tower range. Rampage trying to do what he can. This is a very, very tanky Maokai. He's twisted advancing. He's arcane smashing, but he is going to get killed down by Kind Words only. That was a long fight.
That was Maokai being Maokai. Just not dying and almost killing everybody, but not quite. But, and that is a 2-for-0 in favor of Eradication. A bit of a greedy play going for the Gromp and then overstaying there in terms of God. He did walk over a ward entering the jungle. So they had the information on him for the clap. I suppose they just didn't hear information on Lissandra missing. And committed anyway. And ended up losing a 2-for-0. This Eradication looks to be in a decent spot right now.
Yeah, Eradication is now definitely pulling through. They're getting a little bit. They're still at a little bit of a deficit, but at this point, it's not really even close to being mentionable. And SKIZM is kind of looking scary for them.
The thing about this, though, with the Infernal Dragon plus the 2 item spikes coming soon for the say Sivir, Cat, and Graves. It'll be all about how they push the tempo in this mid game. If they can push the tempo and at least take, we'll say, a 3-tower lead, they'll definitely be in the driver's seat looking toward the late game fights when the Baron's up. And they could just take one fight at that point in time and the game's over. As they do have a very good pushing comp.
Overall, I still think that SKIZM's comp is gonna beat Team Eradication, but Eradication, they're definitely showing more life than last game.
If this does continue on, though, and SKIZM is making these trades, they will ultimately lose this the later this goes. They are not currently making trades that they want to make. That is for sure.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're definitely not the only ones who realize this. I'm positive that SKIZM knows that they're not making the best decisions right now. But they are slowly creeping up a gold lead, I've noticed. And it's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely not any sizable lead.
No, it was almost a 1k gold lead, and then it miraculously got matched up. Rampage, though, up in this top side, thinks he can beat JJ. JJ does have the Black Cleaver, and Maokai has the Sunfire, but he does actually seem to be winning it. Rampage doing a good job judging his damage. And Red Team gets another Dragon. There's over to SKIZM.
And with another Cloud Dragon over, so far in this series, they've had 100% of the Dragons. All thanks to, honestly, Gaudier here. He's had some really good pathing early, just out-pathing Kind Words and time, getting the opportunities in. Sadly, he has all of the gold in that perspective advantage, where he has about 1100 lead over the side of Kind Words. We see a possible Herald fight here.
Yeah, they have the vision, so Eradication knows that this is going on. They know who's in the pit, they know who's out of the pit. So Gaudier here, it looks like Kindwords only might be able to get onto this, but he's going for his last slingshot, trying to dive onto this back line. Rampage trying to keep his front line alive. Big Brain Mid doing his best, putting out the damage, kiting away. JJ News going to go down to Big Brain Mid. The Zac passive is going to get popped. Rift Herald. Gaudier goes for the Flash Smite, does not get the Drake. Everybody's trying to kill whoever they can. Achilles gets the Rift Herald. He's going to drop down for this, though. It looks like the Flash saves him and Bodass life. They're going to walk away right now. It seems as though they're going to be fine.
They're on the wrong side of the map. Doesn't seem like anybody's chasing for this,
map.
though. So they should be fine. This is a 3 for 1, sorry.
But they lose the Rift Herald.
Yeah, so it'll be more about what they can do with this Rift Herald. So, oddly enough, that Rift Herald ended up being secured by the Nami, who actually had last hit it and then picked it up. As the fight was in, salvation mode, they were desperately trying to kill it.
Yeah, Gaudier Flash smited and lived at 23 HP. It really feels unfortunate, especially as a jungler, to see that. And I could definitely feel for him. I've been in that situation before. Well, Rampage, he gets the second tower of the game. JJ News isn't a big fan. Gonna fight him off.
He's absolutely fine. Missed the dash. He's out. Free tower gold there. Now we've moved up to almost a 3k gold lead. Actually, over a 3k gold lead at this point for the side off of nothing, except for the Herald play there. They managed to get a tower on the top, the tier 1 on the top side, and the tier 1 in the mid lane off of the Herald fight. But what we need to watch here for is what they try and do with this Herald play. Obviously, Nami is the one holding. We do see Urgot attempting to answer on the top side, trying to get a tower back, but he will retreat as he doesn't have vision on 2 of the members of the map. We'll catch there, but it's no avail.
Kind Words gonna get bound a little bit, poked down a little bit, but it doesn't matter because he's gonna heal it all up.
Yeah. So we've moved into more of a 1-3-1 kind of scenario for both teams, just kind of attempting to get their solo laners more XP from what they can.
But Big Brain in this bot lane, he's doing a lot of damage on a Sawyer. He might get the kill here. That's the Zanya's Big Brain mid waiting for it. Mistimes the Q, unfortunately, and he knows he's getting collapsed on. Here comes the Zac. They do have vision of him. He will not charge the Elastic Slingshot. Big Brain mid, barely missing that solo kill.
Yeah. He mistimed the Q to get onto Lysandra. Sadly enough, she also had ultimate, so it wouldn't have mattered any. But a bit of a misplay there regardless.
Rampage and Gaudier here up in this top side. They're trying to get a little bit more of a lead. Urgot's walking up to it. Little does he know there's a lot of vision from that little control board.
Yeah, he was spotted by that. He should be killing it now. No, he did not.
No, he didn't even notice it. He's going to walk up to Rampage now, who is going to get a twist in advance. He's going to get the Arcane Smash. That little sapling's going to do
Here
a
comes
little
God
bit.
here.
There's the root. Godier's coming forward. Oh, the root has not even landed yet. And Rampage, he's looking for this dive. The Fear Beyond Death is not on the right person. Rampage going to walk away here, and he will be fine for now as the Elastic Slingshot going to get channeled. Not going to go onto the enemy top laner.
So, and then this is just ended up being a kill and some Baron pressure. They should be able to establish their vision there now that the Urgot is not at all in the... They'll pick up the Scuttle Crab. Where is he going now? Just for a recall, I guess. Yep.
That Rampage is going to be able to reset. It looks like they're going to group up for this Drake. It is another Infernal Dragon, so that will be massive for the side of Schism.
Yeah, we should see a pretty sizable fight around this Infernal Dragon. If we do see the side of, if we do see the side of Erratic Gaming just kind of giving that up again, they could be in for quite the... Obviously, the previous game, they were forced to give up dragons because they were just that far behind. We do see the Herald being placed probably at the very end of its duration, if I had to guess, because it has been for a while, held for a while. The Smith Tower will not go down in a single charge.
Well, that was a little bit of a visual bug. I don't know if you got that one. Rampage going to get that. Shelly will not be doing nearly as much as she wished she could. And here comes the fight for this dragon. Everybody knew it was going to be happening. So at this point, it's who can play the fight the best.
Yep,
JJ
behind...
does have the Ignite. Looks like
They
they're
do
going to go
have
onto
vision,
it. Ooh. Kind words only. Misses the E again. Here comes the ult. Sivir wants to rush in on this. The Righteous Glory coming through. Big Brain Mid gonna die. Rampage takes up that Frozen 2. Oh, a beautiful ult from Big Brain Mid. Freezes everybody up in their steps, and this could be Baron.
Yep, that is a really good fight coming out of the side of Schism and making a really good catch off the back of Rampage. His Righteous Glory engaged along top of his ultimate. And this Baron should be honestly uncontested. Urgot cannot stop them himself. He'll push mid lane. Or he's going to try and walk in there. I mean,
he has Ignite.
there's no target low enough for him. This Baron's gone.
Yeah, there's only about 2,000 HP left. Baron's going to go down to Schism. Big Brain Mid will secure it. That is going to be the reset from Schism, and they are going to look to force this game and force this series to be over.
And not even a consolation prize for the side of the Urgot, just not fast enough with the wave. So this is all Schism esports at this point in time. The only real way that the side of Eradication has the way back to this game again is just one. Schism misplays a team fight, gets over aggressive, maybe catches out Gaudier and Kaelin gets a good shutdown. At this point in time, Kaelin just does not have the damage to be able to choke through these tanks, or the Maokai specifically, who will just lock her down.
Ooh, Sawyer and Big Brain Mid. It looks like he might actually try to make the split push play here. They could go for the 1-3-1. I wouldn't recommend it, but they could.
For Schism?
Yes.
I think at this point in time, with how the comps are playing out, they just kind of forced in a... They half commit to a dive and try and drag somebody up from tower and make a pick. Trap lines do happen. I mean, Cassio's in the side lane, which is correct. As long as they have side lane pressure, they should...
It seems like Schism is actually going to go for that one.
Over diving wouldn't... Okay, they are committing to a full 1-3 on your... I suppose Caitlyn traps are a bit much. And they're not even contesting side lane so far, as a fear of the collapse.
The only person who's going to stop it is Sawyer, and he's on Krugs right now. Big Brain, he could catch him here. Fortunately, so far he will not, and it looks like this tower is... it's definitely going to get chunked. Big Brain Mid's getting some auto attacks off it.
Just look at that dot damage onto Big Grimmer. That's 2 Cassiopeas, and onto Sawyer. He is already down to 30%.
Yeah, Big Brain Mid, he's just going to be able to auto attack that bot tower. It's going to go down. They have to send somebody to stop it. Here's Kindward's only on the flank. He might look for an engage here. They're still doing the 1-3-1. Schism is very much succeeding at it. Ooh, with the bind, the elastic slingshot, Demon will get dragged. The tidal wave coming out from the Nami, and they're going to force this turret down as Big Brain Mid. He's still split pushing. Sawyer going very low, and then another turret going down for Schism.
Yep. At this point in time, it's safe to say that Eradication is just conceding everything at this point. That is outside of their base. and can only hope. Oh my gosh, they're not even fighting the caster. He was
They're gonna
taking the tower.
all in. Big Brain mid, the ult comes through. The Frozen Tomb, the ult will not come through from Big Brain mid as the dive comes in on the top lane. Gaudier, Rampage, the dynamic duo going up again, trying to get that tower. They're not going to be able to get it yet, though, as Dylan is bot lane split pushing. It's no longer a 1-3-1, it's a 2-0-2. And it looks like up on this top side, Kynward's only trying to make something happen on a Rampage. Gaudier cutting back. Bodas going very low. The Elastic Sling shot getting canceled from Kynward's only. And then the bot side from SKIZM, they're looking to get very aggressive. And Ignite goes down. Sawyer's going to fall. And SKIZM's bot lane right now just looking to push into the base, not being contested anymore. And there is 2 inhibitors going down for the side of SKIZM. All they have to do is push this mid lane, and it's looking like it's going to be an easy game for them.
Yep. At this point in time, Eradication just honestly just doesn't have a way back into this game. They don't have the wave clear anymore against this. The Maokai is tanky enough at this point to just straight dive and without a single threat to fight. He'll single-handedly kill the Kaelin himself at this point. Doesn't even need a Bramble Vest.
Rampage is doing a very good job in the side lane. He's building a Spirit Visage now. He was full armor before this, other than the Merc Treads, and Sawyer still did nothing to him.
Unlucky. We will...
Extremely unlucky. And SKIZM is going to get a 3rd Infernal Drake when they have a Sivir Cassiopeia Graves.
This is going to end up being a go for broke moment for the side of Eradication. If they don't get this dragon, if they don't get any kind of fight here, the game's over.
Yes.
There will be no coming back to a triple Infernal.
Fortunately, SKIZM burst this Drake down very quickly, so it doesn't look like there's going to be any contention except for what was attempted. And Rampage is going forward here. Dylan going to have to kite it back, but this is definitely the go for broke SKIZM. They want to end this game right now. They want to get the first 2-0. They are going to get the kill down on Alessandra. She's going to Frozen Tomb. It's only delaying the inevitable. SKIZM gets the triple kill. Gaudier going to get another triple. And that's game for SKIZM. There's no way Bodas can defend this.
Yeah, that should be all she wrote. This game should be all but written. GG well players are getting called out. That's all she wrote.
Yeah, unfortunately, Team Eradication knows SKIZM just sweep them, and they're going to come away with the 2-0.
Oh, Dylan, that's a little aggressive.
GG, well played. Lag comes from Dylan. Gaudier leaves the game. Rampage will use his teleport. That's a 2-0 for SKIZM Esports.
Oh, GG well plays all around. Better luck next time, Eradication.
Yeah, better luck next time. We will see them again next week, I believe, unless everything's changed. And we are going to get into the White Lotus series very soon. Don't touch that browser.